Hey guys, this is Mace1370. I have a couple great RTA games to go over today. Before we get into them though, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, check out the link for my E7 Discord in the video description below. So we open this match with both me and my opponent pre-banning F-Tinny. She's completely Cancer, and I think that if you don't pre-ban her, you either have to use her or put yourself in a disadvantageous position because she doesn't have a lot of really any strong counters right now, other than just outspeeding her, I suppose. And she completely denies your opponent, their entire first turn. It's an incredibly strong opener. So if you don't have great answers for her, I would just pre-ban her right now in this meta. We'll see how everything shifts with the new hero coming out Wednesday, but for now, that's who I pre-ban. So I got the first pick, and I don't think I've played Clam before, but I know that, at least I've heard that a lot of his units are really high effect resistance. I took my Falconer Clury first here because she's fast and she's a good opener. Not sure how effective she'll be against Clam if all of his units really are high ER. He takes Blue Crow and Red Ravi, which is an interesting combination out the gate. I assume he was trying to build some sort of RGB, bruiser team with these two. The Blue Crow kind of denies me my ML Crow, and also Red Ravi is really good into ML Crow, so I think he's trying to draft a team that, out the gate that kind of prevents that from happening. So I take Adventurer Ross here. He's a really strong, combination pick with Flurry.
You want to try me?
Since usually Flurry's a high value kill target, and you can put Rise of the Monarch on Adventurer Ras to make Flurry even harder to kill. And then since he has two mostly single target units, I'm going to take Spectre Tenebria here. So now the opponent takes Landy and Dain. Landy is pretty scary. She's hard to deal with. I usually take Red Ravi, but the opponent has taken her already. So I think that's what his plan was to kind of draft, this combination where he gets Landy and Ravi together. And Dain is a great complement to them because she gives attack buff and makes them both very scary. So I'm not really sure what I want to do here. I debate about trying to tank down a little bit more, but hard to do that against Landy with attack buff. So I take Basar. I think Basar is a strong pick here because he can completely strip away Dain's buffs. He can break Landy out of stealth if she's on Guiding Light and give her unbuffable so she can't pop back into stealth, and prevent a lot of what my opponent is trying to do. He denies the defense buff from Crow. CR pushes back, gives my Spectre Tenebria a chance to pop off. And then I decide to take Assassin Koli, since unless the opponent takes another AoE here, I can probably deny the Landy pick.
I'll teach you dignity.
So Clam takes Fire Charlotte, who is AoE, and would be a problem because, Basar is grass and could miss into her. I debate about banning the Dain here, but I don't think that's a good ban because I have Basar. I'm just afraid the opponent's going to ban my Basar. But since he's taken two fire units, I assume he's letting Basar through. And that is the case, so I go ahead and ban out the Fire Charlotte. So my team is very aggressive here. I have Book on Spectre, and I have Assassin Koli, who's kind of built as a tank buster. She's around, like 260 speed or so she's not going to win any speed races. But she doesn't need to when you have an opener in front of her like Basar.
Time for a counterattack.
And my Basar has, I think, at least 150 effectiveness. Luckily, we did hit the Fire Ravi, which, is a 50-50 coin flip, so we got lucky there.
Be quiet.
And then we landed 3 Abyssal Stuns, so that was extremely lucky. So luck has definitely gone my way in this match. Basar also lands unbuffable on everyone. I soul burn my Assassin Koli to take out the Landy here. Not sure what artifact she was on. I didn't see a proof proc. I'd have to look at that again. Usually if she's not on Guiding Light, she's on proof. So Basar really, performed and shut this team down. I've essentially completely neutralized him. Now I can kill the Dain. I don't want to hit the Red Ravi right here because it'll CR push her up, and I want to get full value out of that stun. And I also want to take out Dain as soon as possible because she's the unit that could allow him to stabilize. But buff block makes it really difficult for Dain to do that since she has to use her S2, which prevents the barrier, so all she really gets is the rod heal. So I'm just going to go into Dain here even though it's opposite element.
Whose turn is
Crow
it?
is now in horse range. I kind of wonder if I can get some more abyssal stuns. I don't, but I hit Ravi again, so I've gotten extremely lucky this match.
Not bad.
You know, every so often Abyssal Crown will just win you the game.
Be quiet.
So now we can finish off Crow, and Ravi being fully debuffed is just going to be completely ineffective against this team. So here you can see, even though it's already over, this would be a scenario where Rise of the Monarch is good because now Basar would get that barrier. Anyway, so that is the first game. Alrighty, game 2 here. This is against Larberry, or Iarberry. Not sure how to pronounce that name. So the opponent pre-bans Fallen Cecilia, which has gotten a little more difficult to read into. You know, before it was just kind of a counter cleave pre-ban, or sorry, a cleave pre-ban. Now because of units like Cerise and F10, it's hard to know if they're going to do just a pure cleave or like a hybrid control cleave thing, the latter being, you know, a lot more popular. I take Clury anyways first pick just because she's a good opener regardless. The opponent takes RB and Cerise, so it looks like they're going for the hybrid control cleave thing because of the Cerise, but she can just be a CDOM pusher, and you know they can flex into full cleave if you dedicate too much to anti-debuffs, so it's a very flexible strategy. I take ML Tywin and ML Crow because I think they're a good answer to Cerise. ML Tywin cleanses away your slow, which is the more crippling of those two debuffs, and then Crow puts up immunity, and that prevents, you know, the future death breaks from subsequent turns from Cerise. Iarberry takes CDOM and A-Lot, so they're fully committing to damage here for the most part.
Oh well.
I take ML Haste. I decide I just need to tank down at this point. I don't have an Aureus holder yet, and I think I need to take one. I'm tempted to take SSB here, but I think the enemy team is going to be pretty squishy, so even without SSB, I think I should be fine. Had I taken an Aureus pick first, I think SSB would have been a good pick here, but I think Aureus is more important, since CDOM is going to try to snipe a unit, and Aureus could potentially prevent her from being able to accomplish that goal. So I take Blue Crow. I think he's a decent pick here because he offers defense buff if he gets a turn, or horse, and can take out one of their enemy teams, and most importantly, he holds Aureus. Out of the units that my opponent has right now, the only ones I'm really scared of are CDOM and A-Lots. RB I don't think has enough damage to deal with my team, and I have ML Haste. And A-Lots provides attack buff, which is the scariest thing. If you give CDOM attack buff, she can kill a lot of really tanky units. They take Watcher Shuri, and the same thing goes for him. If Watcher Shuri gets attack buff, his ability to one-shot things is significantly increased, even if they have really high HP, because, you know, he just totally penetrates defense. So I ban A-Lots here. I think A-Lots is generally the best ban when you're going against these like pure damage cleaves. Obviously, like everything is a case-by-case basis, but A-Lots provides attack buff and book, and that is a deadly combination in my opinion. So I just go ahead and ban him out. Then I rearrange my imprints to maximize the amount of HP on my team. I'm trying to get better about doing that. I've probably been guilty of just ignoring my imprint stuff in the past. So the opponent Cerise outspeeds my Falconer Clury, which I expected, but everyone's on immunity, so she can't stun the Clury. She has to use her S3, which she probably wants to do anyways, just to get invincible and to enable the dual attacks in future turns. You can see Tywin cleansed away the slow, so all I have to deal with now is the restrict, which actually is kind of annoying because my ML Haste is on Idol's Cheer, and my Clury, you know, could potentially CR push herself, so the restrict kind of matters. It looks like, I guess maybe Tywin got the bump there, so because he didn't have restrict, he got it. I don't know if he has the highest attack on my team. Either way, Tywin is sick against this type of setup because you just get his S3 off, and look, now a couple of his units are slowed, and I got a couple stuns as well. Shuri had immunity, so I wasn't able to do that, but we can strip him with Clury, and of course he resists. Of course. And you can see, thanks to that Aureus on Crow, my haste is still pretty healthy. I think he would have taken quite a bit more damage had I not had Aureus there. And RB could have potentially finished him off, especially if he gabbed. So I think Aureus was the right choice. I think SSB would have been kind of greedy. I debate about just doing an early horse here, but I decided to put defense buff up instead. since the combination of defense buff plus my ML haste shield should make me more or less immortal to everything going on. I'm going to let Shuri get a turn here. I could have killed him with ML haste, but I think it's better just to go into the RB because I'll get the shield and immunity. And even though RB Gab's here, he's not even going to be able to break through the shield with defense buff. So this is a better scenario for me.
I won't miss.
Because I'm not really worried about Shuri, one-shotting him. And yeah, see here you can see he was nowhere close. If he had attack buff, though, that would have been scary. Okay, and that's game. Thanks for watching.